It's that time of the week. We are looking at all the trades that you guys have made in the past week. There's some very impressive blockbusters here to go over. Do us a favor, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you like Dynasty Football, and if you want your trades on this very weekly show, it's quite simple. All you need to do is use our promo code LAND, sign up to the Flock Fantasy website, choose that Mother Flocker tier, and you will instantly unlock the ability to be in this weekly trade show. DM us if you have any questions. The first trade from today is WHDMurder. He says it's a 12-team Superflex Start 10 PPR. It's a half tight end premium as well as running backs. The Levis deal was done 20 days ago, so right after Tannehill got hurt. I thought it was maybe the last chance to buy low. The Lamb deal was after the 40-point game. His team is in a one-year punt. So, and he's watching us as he's submitting. You love to see it.
You love to see it.
So the top trade, that's the pending one. So it looks like CeeDee Lamb, Rashid Shaheed, Will Levis for Deshaun Watson and Jalen Waddle. And I like this deal. I was a little bit lower on Deshaun Watson in our recent quarterback ranking video. And just overall concern about the poor play this year. I know he just played his best game, but now he's out for the year. I just think there's going to be a lot of volatility in his value over the offseason.
There is.
But I think the most important piece here is CeeDee Lamb. I think he's a true, and we said this last year, and we're saying it again this year. He's a true alpha number one in Dynasty. So
yeah, I agree. I like this trade for you for the CeeDee Lamb side, and hopefully Will Levis play something. But yeah, I agree. The volatility with Deshaun Watson's play here coming into next year is going to be very interesting to see how people value him. But yeah,
big fan of getting CeeDee Lamb there. In the next deal, it looks like he sends CeeDee Lamb away though. Okay, so he gets Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
Look, I do prefer CeeDee Lamb over Garrett Wilson. I think Wilson is very close. When he gets Aaron Rodgers, I think we will be talking about them in the same conversation. And then you get Nico Collins. You send away a second and Shaheed. I guess this is pretty even. What do you think? I just feel like you sent away a pillar of a rebuild or a 1-year punt, if you will.
Yeah, I think coming into the season, Garrett Wilson and CeeDee Lamb were close, very close.
That's true.
I'm not saying that has changed in the long term. I think it's just changed this year. I think as we go in, and if we do see Aaron Rodgers this year with Garrett Wilson, and we say, "Oh my goodness, this is what it could have been," then I don't think we're second guessing this trade at all, because you are winning with Nico Collins the way he has performed with C.J. Stroud. I would say it is an even trade just based off of the longevity of hoping that Aaron Rodgers is going to be back not only next year or this year, but next year, and I would even say the year after, because he's missed this whole year.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So I'm okay with this trade, because I would rather have Nico Collins over Raheem Shaheed in a 25-second.
My concern is more that. So I'm not a huge Nico Collins guy, and I've tried to give him respect this year, and then he's kind of giving me the ookie dukes. I'm trying to figure out if he's actually like good or not.
My concern with
he's
Nico,
just in a very good situation, and I've said this before, but I could easily see the Texans bringing in any one of the number one free agent wide receivers or drafting a wide receiver in this year's draft. It's a very deep class. You can get a good wide receiver in the second round. And I just don't believe that Nico Collins is the type of talent that is like, okay, Nico Collins is going to transcend any talent that they bring in. So I prefer CeeDee Lamb over Garrett Wilson. I understand Garrett Wilson could become that guy with Aaron Rodgers, and he probably will. But I still prefer CeeDee Lamb, and that's where my concern is. But maybe I'm being too harsh.
That makes sense. Anything can happen, and obviously if they do bring in someone like a T. Higgins or whoever's going to for free agency or in the first round, maybe they get Malik Neighbors in the first. Ayuk. Then obviously that is going to be a massive concern for Nico Collins. So we'll wait and see what happens.
They will have the Browns pick, and let's see what happens to the Browns with no Deshaun Watson. I mean, they've gotten here pretty much without him, so they'll probably be fine. But they will still be in the range to take a first-round wide receiver if they want. Next trade is from Rowan. What's up, Rowan?
How you
12
doing?
team, 1 quarterback. My receivers are now Chase, Lamb, London, Jason, Flowers, and my running backs are Bijan and Madison. I have 3 firsts next year, so I hope to contend next year. I'm 7-11 in a median league. He's 7-11. He's open all day. So he gets Bijan Robinson, sends away Smith, Brian Robinson, a third and a second. To me, this is a no-brainer. Absolutely accept, because Devonta Smith is the only piece I really feel like I'm hurting losing, but I definitely prefer Bijan over Devonta Smith long term.
Yeah.
With the landscape of running backs in Dynasty, how hard it is to find a guy like Bijan, this is an easy yes for me on the Bijan side.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, before this season, that would have been 3 firsts.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously things kind of changed and people are selling him probably at the wrong time after Arthur Smith. So I do agree Bijan Robinson is the winner of this trade.
This trade would have happened right before the Arizona game. You're going to trade him before he plays Arizona? Come on.
Unlucky.
Crime Lord, 10-team Superflex. First is looking to be the 102 to the 105. So he gets Kyler Murray and Brandon Ayuk. Sends away what will be the 102 to the 105. I am completely fine with this. I've been a big advocate of buying Kyler Murray. I don't get the hate on Kyler Murray, dude. It's been all offseason I've been trying to defend this guy, and no one is behind me. But I love Kyler Murray. Love Brandon Ayuk. I think both of those guys, like, to me, Kyler Murray is worth at least 2 first-round picks. Brandon Ayuk is, I mean, I wouldn't accept like a late first for Brandon Ayuk. So I think you got the equivalent of 3 first-round picks for the 102 to the 105, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, I don't mind this trade either. 102, 105 makes sense for Kyler Murray. So I'm happy with the trade. And Ayuk as well, I think is also worth the first. I think you kind of mentioned that. So
yeah.
I'm excited for this trade for you here, Crime Lord.
The next one is Big Breakfast. 10-team PPR, start 11, currently in 8th, and decided to start retooling my roster for next year. Not exactly a cockbuster deal. Cockbuster deal. Instead of blockbuster. But I'm happy to have gotten something for Connor in season. Second is likely early to mid. So he gets a second for Connor and Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell, that is. Where do you stand on Keaton Mitchell? Because if this was just James Conner, I'd feel good about it. I don't think Keaton Mitchell is the future of this backfield. I don't think he stops them from drafting a Trey Benson, for example. Where do you stand on the likes of Keaton Mitchell?
No, I agree. I mean, I even think of next year. You think of free agent running backs on a 1-year contract. Is that Derrick Henry? There was talk of Derrick Henry going to the Ravens as well. Sure. You think of Austin Eckler. Is he going to be on this team for the Chargers? So I'm okay with this second, unless we won't know this until after the end of the draft. They don't draft a running back and they don't sign a running back. And you're saying, dang, I just got Keaton Mitchell, who's going to be most likely either 50-50 backfield or the starting backfield in 2024. But that is highly doubtful with the running back free agency and with the NFL draft, at the horizon here in a couple months. Yeah. So I'm okay with the 24 first. I'm willing to take the risk on sending away Keaton Mitchell.
Definitely makes sense. Mighty Booch, 12-team Superflex half PPR, start 9 lineup, not competing this year, have 2 firsts in 24 and 2 2025 first. Quarterbacks are Allen, Watson, Levis, DeVito. Someone sent me a trade for DeVito the other day, and I was like, I'm sorry.
Danny DeVito, brother.
I don't want to.
Scored a touchdown.
I don't want Tommy DeVito.
He scored a touchdown against the Cowboys now.
Yeah. So
Come
she
home,
gets
Caleb.
Waddle in a second, sends away Baker, DK in a third. And yes, I'm a fan of this deal myself. I mean, you got the better draft pick. In my opinion, you got the more valuable dynasty asset. And
I agree.
Waddle over Metcalf.
I agree.
So I like this move.
Completely agree.
Next trade from Styles Clash, 12-team Superflex PPR, 1.5 tight end premium, start 10. Got my first share of Levis in Dynasty. Rebuilding team. As much as I would have loved to keep Kincaid as part of my core, jumped on the opportunity to acquire Levis. I have 5 firsts and 5 seconds next year, including the projected 101. So my core includes Dak, Amon-Ra, Christian Watson, if he's worth mentioning. So, right. In all transparency, Badaki, I really don't like this trade. Maybe it's my bias towards Will Levis. I don't know. You can let me know. But in a half tight end premium, 1.5 tight end
1.5.
premium. Dalton Kincaid,
It is.
I would say, is way more valuable than Will Levis. I could be wrong. And the part that makes it worse for me is that Styles has 5 first-round picks next year. And next year is maybe the deepest quarterback class we've seen since 2021. I really don't like this deal. I got to be honest with you. Kincaid is in contention for the number 1 tight end in Dynasty right now. I don't know, dude. I'm not a fan. Maybe it's my bias towards Will Levis. My concerns coming into the year was his pocket presence. The guy cannot sense pressure, and we are seeing that after that blow-up game versus Atlanta. Every other game, you are seeing him not being able to sense pressure. I'm not saying he can't grow, but he will be the quarterback for this team next year. I just think Kincaid is far more valuable in my personal opinion.
My biggest concern here is why are you trading away your tight ends in a 1.5 tight end premium? You either have another tight end that you really like, or you are really hoping for Brock Bowers here. And not saying that he is going to be a bust or whatever the case may be, but you see what you have with Dalton Kincaid, and you see this offense that he's on with Josh Allen. What if Brock Bowers goes to a really bad team with a bad quarterback? Or I'm not saying that he's going to be bad, but what if you're concerned about that? Anyways, basically what I'm trying to say is I would rather have kept Dalton Kincaid over Will Levis, period. Whether that is a one quarterback or super flex league or not even a non-tight end premium league, I would have wanted Dalton Kincaid. So
I would agree, and I'm just confused as well, Styles, because you would have held on to Kincaid throughout all the rough times,
and you just sold
only
him
for him to break out and sell him in a tight end premium. I think the most important part of this show is honesty and transparency. And I just don't like the deal.
Agreed.
Again, especially knowing that you have 5 firsts next year. In one of the deepest quarterback classes, I mean, you could draft 3 quarterbacks in the first round next year. I think there's only one Brock Bowers.
My only biggest belief is that he's believing for Brock Bowers. Sorry to interrupt. That is my biggest belief in style.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing that maybe he's a better talent, a better prospect, but the only way this makes sense is because he is so confident in the first 5 picks that he has that hopefully one of those picks is going to be Brock Bowers.
You couldn't put Brock Bowers in a situation that Dalton Kincaid is in, though. Like, this is... You couldn't have dreamt up a better spot for a young tight end that you like their talent.
No,
Buffalo,
you
as
can't.
a second option, at some point will become the number 1 when Diggs is older. Yeah, that's tough.
It is tough. Very tough.
Goat Ring says 12 teams, Superflex, full PPR, start 11, only share of Stroud, but I absolutely couldn't resist this. So it looks like he gets Mike Williams, Justin Herbert, James Conner, sends away C.J. Stroud and Zach Charbonnet. So here's what I would say. I definitely still prefer Herbert over Stroud. Mm-hmm. The rest is just white noise to me. It's there. So, yeah, I prefer the Justin Herbert side of this deal. What about you?
I agree. I actually have these guys. I don't know where you have them, but I have them back-to-back in my rankings, brother.
Okay.
In my Dynasty rankings. So... Yeah. I'm wondering where CJ Stroud is in for the community, but I think this is a okay trade. Like, you get James Conner if you need another guy. Mike Williams, maybe he comes back next year for the Chargers. We'll wait and see what that looks like. I'm okay with Justin Herbert or CJ Stroud.
I have one other player in between them. That's Lamar Jackson. I would still have Lamar ahead of CJ with the long-term deal, but
at the moment,
it's close.
At the moment, I did move him up ahead of Lamar. Yeah. Just the way he's playing, just the way, I mean, maybe it's my recency bias, but my goodness, Lamar has a rushing upside, but CJ Stroud is just consistent. It looks like that's going to be the future. Like, he is, anyways, I don't want to go too long, but.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I definitely hear you. Okay, the next trade is from Crim Lord. 2 mid firsts and the Ravens backfield for Bijan. I'll take that. Let me hear your thoughts. So he gets Bijan Robinson, 2 firsts and sends away Edwards and Mitchell. I mean, yeah, that's an easy accept for me. What about you?
Agreed. I mean,
There's not there are running backs we like in the 24 class, but there's no Bijan Robinson.
this is why I think if you can get a running back now before we actually get into the 2024 class and you need a running back, you should definitely. I'm not saying the 24 class is bad, but there's probably, I would say, maybe 3 to 4 fantasy relevant running backs. Other than that, it is a massive dip. Try and get running backs as soon as possible that maybe are still young, have a long-term contract, because you're probably not going to really invest into one maybe until 2025 that you really like.
Yeah. If you're waiting for the 2024 draft hype and hoping for a bunch of running backs, Padaki's right. It might be time to I know you might want to keep your max points 4 down, but it might be time to go get a running back before you realize what this class has. Lazy Bone says, Golf League, roast me or roast Kyle. So, Jerry Judy and Geno Smith, 2 guys who are underperforming massively this year. I still prefer Geno Smith, though, in a super flex format. I don't know about you.
I'm taking Jerry Judy's side here purely based off of my belief in him either moving to another team and finally being broken up, like released. You know, his chains are broken. You hope and believe for Jerry Judy. And I do believe Geno Smith is going to be somebody that they're going to start fading out. Not because of the bad performance, but it's because he's going to go into his second year of his contract. They're going to need to look to another quarterback here. And this quarterback class is deep. It is deep. Yeah. So they can find his replacement here, and it may be a second rounder. But if he doesn't continue to perform well going into the 2024 year, we can see the switch. So we'll wait and see. I'll take Jerry Judy.
I just don't really have confidence in either of these guys moving forward, to be honest with you.
I get you.
That's fair. 12-team Dynasty, Superflex, non-tight end premium, continuing to rebuild for the future. And my other quarterbacks are Joey B and Kyler. So he gets Bryce Young, sends away Dobbs and Spears. I love that.
This is beautiful.
I love that. This is the time to buy Bryce Young right now, guys. Mm-hmm. This is the time to buy Bryce Young. You know, I talked about it over on my Twitter, but a lot of people are not remembering the conversations that were being had around Trevor Lawrence, his rookie year. You know, and I know Trevor Lawrence has had pretty poor form recently, but I don't have any questions that he's the franchise quarterback for that team. And I think he's played really well. But if you look at their 2 starts to their careers, it's eerily similar. Let me go ahead and find this before I put my foot in my mouth. But in their first 8 games as starting quarterbacks, Trevor's completion percentage was 59%. Bryce is up at 64%. Trevor threw 9 interceptions. Bryce threw 8. Trevor had 8 touchdowns. Bryce had 8. Bryce had a better average yards per attempt, and both did not have a good wide receiver core. Trevor's best wide receiver was Marvin Jones. Bryce's best wide receiver is Adam Thielen. Bad situation around them, poor offensive line play, bad coaching. So I don't think it's time to give up on Bryce Young just yet.
I don't think so either.
So I think this is a good example of buying him.
Completely agree. And I think we also have to understand, like, if this team, the Carolina Panthers, does not invest in a number 1 wide receiver this year, and I know they don't have their first, but you have T. Higgins that is in free agency. Maybe even Calvin Ridley, maybe he doesn't re-sign with the Jags. You know, you think of Michael Pittman. I'm pretty sure he'll stay with the Colts, but hypothetically he doesn't. They're going to put all their money invested into a wide receiver 1 here, in my opinion, coming into this year. And you're going to love T. Higgins with Bryce Young. Or you're going to love a Calvin Ridley with Bryce Young. And the conversation changes here. So I love that you bought him for this low.
Definitely still been flashes. And there's like a 2-year... He will have at least 3 years to prove himself. Bryce Young, that is. And the last trade today is from Big Breakfast. 12-team PPR Superflex, half tight end premium, 1 point per carry. 0.1 point per carry.
Right.
Start 10. I'm in win now mode and made this trade after week 7 before Lamb started popping off. Feeling good about it now. The IDP are Devy players. I sent away Rocket Sanders and got Ja'Cory Brooks. Neither of those guys really sway. Yeah, I agree. So he gets Lamb, Akers, sends away Waddle and Musgrave. I'm fine with this deal.
I'm okay
fine
with
with getting the best player in the deal.
Completely agree. Don't want to spend too much time on that. CeeDee Lamb is the guy. Luke Musgrave, improving. Maybe he gets a better quarterback, so that's exciting as well.
I would say Cam Akers is pretty much a dead asset
100%.
if he wasn't already.
100%.
But that is it. We appreciate y'all. Y'all know how to sign up to the show if you want to be a part of it. Otherwise, you can drop a comment, tell us what trades you've made, and help someone out in the comments and let them know what you think. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you very soon. Enjoy your week. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, LAND, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy. Even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.